Hello. So we're going to do our last lesson relating to clauses. And so I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. So we're going to talk today about relative adverbs and clauses. So I'm going to go ahead and write my name at the top. And so we're going to look at relative adverbs begin dependent clauses that tell where, when, or why. So here's an example. I can tell you why migrant workers love Cesar Chavez. So this is our dependent clause right here. So it starts with why. California is the place where La Causa was born. So we have where. Do you know when Chavez was born? So we have a dependent clause. So that means it can't stand alone. And we have them starting with relative adverbs, where, when, or why. Okay. All right, we're going to underline the dependent clause in each sentence and circle the relative adverb that begins each clause. Okay, so we're going to be looking for where, when, or why. All right, that'll be the guide to help us. So that Arizona ranch is where Chavez lived as a young boy. Well, I see where, and I know that the rest is going to be the dependent clause. Right? So I have where Chavez lived as a young boy. Let's look at number 2. The family had to move away when a drought ruined the crops. So I'm seeing when, and our clause is a drought ruined the crops. All right. Let's look at number 3. Their sad mother told them why they had to leave their home. I'm seeing why they had to leave their home is the dependent clause. The family had to live in a dirty shed when they arrived in California. I'm looking for when they arrived in California is the dependent clause. I wonder why the landowner treated workers so poorly. So we have why, and here's our clause. The landowner treated the workers so poorly. All right. Last one. Here we go. An old theater in Fresno is where the first National Farm Workers meeting took place. Where? So that was a little bit easier. So let's kind of review a little bit. We have clauses. We have dependent clauses. And we have independent clauses. So independent clauses can stand on their own. It's like a sentence. It has a subject and a predicate. Dependent clauses can't stand on their own, and sometimes they start with relative words, and the relative words are either they can be a question, or they can ask which one or what kind, or they can start with what, who, or which, right? So they can be relative, or they can be interrogative. They can ask a question. Right. And if they're interrogative, they're going to have like what, who, which. And if they're relative, they're probably going to have, just like we have lots of W words, right? When, where, and why. So we have who, what, and which. Okay. So that should kind of help you a little bit. We're mostly working with dependent clauses, right? And they can't stand alone. All right. Hopefully this has helped you sort out. We will probably have another lesson or two about clauses as the year moves on because they're kind of important. And mostly our lessons will be about dependent clauses. Okay. So I hope this helped you, and I will see you later. Thanks for joining me.